So that's how you got formed. Then, how did you break on the scene, like your first shows? Like, how did you bust on? Like, tell us your first shows.
First big show.
Our first show made the local paper.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, our first show was a combined...
I know involved as well.
I ran them upside down. A combined 18th for some friends of ours, and we played on this balcony about this big, and it was at the Blackwood Rec Centre.
Filled with skate ramps.
It's filled with skate ramps. All these skaters from all around them came, and I don't think security was very tight that night, and about 500 kids came.
Way more.
Yeah.
I reckon there was like, hundreds of kids there. It was packed.
And this was our first show, and we're just playing our tunes, no worries, and then we finish up and there's all these police cars and Andre's car's on its roof, and
someone rolled it down the street.
Yeah. And in the messenger paper there was an article about these local hoons.
Wasn't us.
No.
So our first gig made the paper. It was kind of cool. And that was kind of how we started. And we just played anything back in the day, and eventually hooked up with Craig Armstrong. He took us under his wing, and our first big show, our first support, I guess, was MXPX, and their first tour out. I think.
I think I've been a couple of times before.
Do you reckon?
I think it was the second tour, I reckon.
Yeah, maybe.
But when we first started the band, it was like, imagine one day at the end of our career if we could play with MXPX.
Yeah.
It's like, that would be our ultimate dream. And then like 6 months later, we were supporting MXPX at Adelaide Uni.
Yeah, it was kind of one of our early
Flinders
shows.
Uni.
Flinders Uni.
And it was just like a dream come true. And then we thought, well, where do we go from here?
Yeah,
Pretty much. It's cool.
And so that was the Nose for Name was the first tour after that one. That was the next big one.
Yeah. But early days, it was pretty much
Youth groups.
And
parties.
And friends' parties playing in lounge rooms, and I remember that.
South Party?
Yeah, we crashed a party, and there was a band playing, and we just decided to rock up and just start playing some songs.
I remember that. Yeah, because there was all these instruments that no one was using.
Yeah.
Do you remember that party when
Show.
we played down south? It was for a case of beer or something?
Yeah.
And all those townies crashed
townies
with
came
knives.
The hoodies and
Yeah, it was like a massive
they're
like
saying,
gang fight.
don't go out in the front street.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us out a lot.
They're going to get you.
So it was interesting back then. I guess the main thing to say would have to be like for us, like if we'd started the band now, we probably wouldn't have got anywhere. Like realistically, like the quality of music is so good, but then back then there was nothing. Like there was not a scene. There was like a city death metal scene, and there was kind of a surf skate scene down south. Nothing in the city, and really like it was really Craig bringing out the internationals like in the style that we played that really gave us the break, and he hooked us up, and really the whole scene from there built itself around bands like us and 99 Reasons Why and Beer Goggles, you know, just starting to kind of converge around the Holdfast at first and then slowly into the city. Yeah.
Some other early bands.
And how did like your whole springboard onto the underground scene? Like
Yeah.
when you first broke onto the underground, just tell us about your first show. Was that
That was Embodiment, yeah.
And Callus.
Yeah, that was
Callus.
awesome.
Yeah.
about that first show?
Yeah. I can't remember much about it, but
I remember it.
I remember the poster.
I remember it.
I remember it.
You want to tell the story about your Yamaha amp?
Yeah,
Yeah, Sam can tell.
I just bought this twin Yamaha amp. I thought, oh, this is cool. And we go up to the underground and play our first show, and I plug it in and go to play our first chord, and it blows up.
No. It stopped.
It stopped.
So Sam turns around, kicks it. The thing flies over and then starts working again. So it keeps playing.
Was that the same show when the PA nearly fell on my girlfriend? Now what?
I can't remember.
No, that was a different one.
I remember though, back in the early days,
Was that the underground
they
one?
didn't have a stage. They just had milk crates.
Yeah.
And they put some boards over the top with some carpet. So when we were playing and jumping around, the whole stage was moving and everything was falling all over the place. It's pretty chaotic. But the first show was when Craig was first seeing us.
Craig Armstrong.
Craig Armstrong was at that colour show, I
Yeah,
reckon.
it was.
It was.
That's where he saw us. So yeah, we actually hooked up with Craig from like kind of through the underground, like through that show. And that I remember ringing him saying, "Craig, you got to come check us out. We're playing with Embodiment and Callus." That was amazing. That show. Like the scene, like the hardcore scene at that time was awesome.
Everyone was so supportive too. Like all the guys from other bands like Virgin Black, all those guys have fully helped us out. us tips.
Yeah.
And all the guys through the body move, and Chaos are all really friendly, and it's good.
And Think Tank kind of soon after.
Yeah.
Like it was just like back then, like that was the strength of the Adelaide scene, you know. Like it wasn't big enough to sustain all these different styles of music. So like, you know, kind of punk and hardcore and rock bands all played together.
Yeah,
It's
you'd
cool,
go
like-
to a show, and like there'd be a ska band,
Yeah.
and then there'd be a hardcore band, and then a punk band, and everyone in Adelaide would just get into it.
Yeah.
Because it was music and it
Yeah.
was the Adelaide scene.
Sick.
And then you go to Melbourne, and if you weren't in their style of music,
Yeah.
they didn't like it.
Pretty
So that's what
much.
was so cool about Adelaide, that everyone just loved the music, and everyone
Yeah.
loved what was happening.
Yeah. It's strong.
And were you guys like aware of the growth in the scene? Like, sort of like at the time, or was it more like
What?
reflection, like you see what's happening?
I wasn't really aware of it happening at the time. The time that I became really aware of what was happening in Adelaide was when we first did I think it was when we were on our second EP, and we looked at the Samia music charts in the advertiser, and out of 10 bands, there would have been like 8 South Australian Christian bands that were in the top 10 selling for the Samia charts. And that was my first realisation that there was so much happening here, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
But when we were doing it, it's just playing music.
Yeah.
We wasn't really aware of what was happening around us.
And you're always looking towards the next thing, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you don't really have any time to stop and kind of contemplate and sort of go, yeah, we did a good job of that. You kind of just like, we just keep rolling with it. How
Yeah.
can we make it better? How can we kind of, you know, what's the next thing? So yeah, it's kind of cool in hindsight. It was awesome to be a part of it, for sure.